Which place? My constituency.
Your constituency.
I still have the flag.
Good.
Yeah.
And you? I also have good.
It's primary.
Yeah,
I think in the future, we just leave it.
that's for sure. Yeah.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Prayer.
Almighty God, who in infinite wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor these your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you've committed to their charge. Amen.
Item 2 on the order paper. Communication from the chair.
Honourable members, I want to welcome you to this afternoon sitting, and I hope you made good use of your brief break. I saw a lot busy in the constituency. Honourable members, during the break, the government chief whip, Honourable Hamson Oboa, lost his brother in an accident. Actually, the burial is going to be on Friday. That is Major Armstrong Oboa, who died in a motor accident in Ginja. And similarly, our colleague, Honorable Mugema Panado, lost his daughter. And on my own behalf, and on behalf of Parliament of Uganda, we want to extend our heartfelt condolence to Honorable Government Chief Whip and Honorable Panado, plus all their friends, families, their relatives for the loss. We stand with you, and may the deceased find their rest in the Lord. May we rise and observe a moment of silence in their honor.
May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Honorable members, the rains in eastern Uganda have ravaged in various districts, notably in Kapelebyong, Otuke, Alebtong, Amuria, Abim, Bukedea, and most parts in Soroti. Transport infrastructure and other livelihoods have become severely affected. I am told people in Blambul even don't have food. The little bridge that connects Abim and Obalanga in Kapelpiong has been washed away, while the Moroto Bridge remains at risk. Gardens have been submerged. I was told by Honorable Amero that even her little coffee has been swept off. So I don't know what she's going to use for retirement. I want to urge the Minister of Disaster Preparedness and Refugee to evaluate the situation and take appropriate action to see how we can remedy what is happening. Honorable members, we may be aware that the prevailing electoral roadmap by Electoral Commission indicates that the nomination for parliamentary is going to be on 15th and 16th. That's one thing a member of parliament would know. 15th and 16th. We need to be ready for it. Make sure you have all that is required for you to be nominated. Look at the law. Don't reach there and they tell you that you don't have a clearance certificate. Please do that. And to the committee chairs and committee members who have work before you, can you have all the work completed before we go for nomination? Because we are going to be sitting from now until that time. We will not have a break because we need to dispose of all the business that is before committees. I want to wish all of you well. I know it's not an easy time, but by God's grace we will be there. I want to thank all of you. Thank you. Yes, Uhesh.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm responding to a communication and really emphasizing with the people of eastern Uganda, where the rains have ravaged gardens and infrastructure. But the Right Honorable Speaker, much as I have notified the government, I will remember, Right Honorable Speaker, on 20th of September 2023, a few days afterwards, I reported here about the ravaging by rains the infrastructure in Buheju, particularly so the road between Katerera and Revenge and Echirind Bridge. Right up to now, Right Honorable Speaker, government has never come to the assistance of those people, and that road has been blocked ever since. So, Right Honorable Speaker, my concern is, much as you have mentioned and appealed to government to assess the situation, what follows after assessment and what follows when making reports? Because government has sort of neglected us and we are suffering on behalf of government, and the communities are equally suffering with no business and no connectivity. Right Honorable Speaker, I request that the government responds to whatever appeal we make in this house. Thank you.
Thank you. Who is standing in for the Prime Minister? Who is standing in for the Prime Minister? Okay. Yes, there is a motion.
I want to thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We come here to transact business on behalf of the country. And government business takes priority. The ministers, who are about 5 dozens, are all not here, Madam Speaker. So the motion, Madam Speaker, is for you to adjourn Parliament until government is ready. A member of Parliament from NRM, the MP, Honorable Biraro, has just complained that this government, this NRM government, has neglected his people. I wanted to ask him why does he then support it. But Madam Speaker, this is a serious matter. If the NRM elections have affected
You've moved your
cabinet,
motion.
Yeah, I am moving. I haven't
Can we
finished.
first get...
I haven't moved, so I am moving. If this NRM cabinet of 5 dozens has been ravaged by NRM internal processes and they can no longer function, Madam Speaker, we need to adjourn Parliament until one of them is here, or you speak to the President to tell us if he has a functioning cabinet. Because the public spends about 2 billion shillings per day to run this House. And the Honorable Msasi, and I thank him, there are ministers here who pretend, even when they are not authorized, that they are representing government. And I really congratulate you. If government has not authorized you, you don't come here and represent it. So, Madam Speaker, my motion is that you adjourn Parliament until government is ready to transact business on behalf of the public, then we resume. Otherwise, all the issues you are going to raise...
Is that seconded?
Yes.
Is it seconded? No, I'm putting a question. Those in favor of adjournment, say and the contrary nay. The nays have it. Honourable members, we cannot afford coming here to waste our time. Let's continue. Let's work. There are more important things for us to do. Yes. Yes, the rain in Mitiana. Yes.
Thank you very much. Right.
Are you in Mitiana?
Right Honourable Speaker, it's absurd that the Right Honourable Prime Minister is not here. She's not here, but the rains have not only affected the region you've talked about, but also in Mitiana. Specifically, in my division in the municipality of Rusimbi, it has been affected so much that I also urge the government to step up so that they give relief. And also, very many homesteads were destroyed by the strong rains that happened last month. I wish that the Prime Minister can step up to help our people. I thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Can you take notes of what the members are saying? Yes. JB.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, you know Bududa is synonymous with landslides, but we thank God that even with the heavy downpours, we have had landslides, but they have not claimed lives. But we know lots of crops and livestock have been destroyed. But most importantly, the bridge that connects Manafa na Misindo and Kenya to Bududa Hospital. As you know, it is in ruins, and with the pounding heavy downpours, the situation has been actually made worse. And soon, because we have seen the tributary of River Manapa, which is called the River Tutu, has burst its banks, soon that bridge will be carried away. And this would mean even the matter of disaster in Buruda being exacerbated, because the river will have demonstrated against the road, allowing any communication or other transport between Mbale and Bududa. And once that road is cut off, you know Bududa is landlocked. There is no other road that may connect it to Mbale or to the border of Ruahaha. So the situation is as dire as that, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, I think Honourable Musasisi should be able to communicate to the responsible ministers, and we discuss the issues of the disaster tomorrow. Let's discuss that tomorrow. Yes, Panado, on this.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Personally, I also need to extend our heartfelt appreciation to you as an individual and the colleagues. Right Honourable, you took over the medical bills of my daughter when I could not, and then even after, with that appreciation, yeah, it was a lot of money, what they call money. So, personally, I appreciate. But also, on a political note, Right Honourable Speaker, you formerly worked as a lecturer at MOBS. And our own Emosoga, Dr. Professor Balunywa, they are witch hunting him because they are saying he illegally recruited two staffs whose names are not being shown anywhere. Me, what I know, this is a selective application of justice. Right Honourable Speaker, of recent they had just selected you as a second member. Please, this could be political so that they see how you will revamp part of the Basogas who are your own. Right Honourable Speaker, Basoga gave you a lot of votes for sake. Do us a favor and come to your rescue. Balunywa has not done anything.
Thank you, Honourable.
Basoga, it is really, this is too bad for us. Basalirwa, Mariam, we all come from Basoga. Let us join voices and we rescue Balunywa.
Honourable Panado, Honourable Panado, I like the way you can smuggle in something. I thought you were on communication, but the issue of Professor Balunywa is being handled. It's being handled. Yes, it's being handled. Yes, he wants a clarification.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Honourable Panado for raising this issue. Right Honourable Speaker, we understand Professor Balunywa will be coming back to court on Friday. But the issue he raises is significant in the sense that the manner in which Professor Balunywa's charge sheet was amended at the bar, and yet all this time they've been wanting him in court, speaks of volumes. I think it is important for us to ask these people in positions of authority to stop abusing government institutions. You cannot be looking for a person.
Honourable Basalirwa, this issue is in court.
There is nothing sub judice about this matter. Those who are saying it's sub judice, you don't know the rules on sub judice.
Basalirwa, Honourable Basalirwa, Honourable Basalirwa. Actually, I expected you to come and give me a feedback. I assigned you a duty yesterday. I don't know why you are coming on the floor instead of coming and we discuss. I gave you work yesterday to go and sort it out. No. Stop being irresponsible. You want to think you're more attached to Balunywa than me? I am more attached to Balunywa. Next item.
Your communication, Madam Speaker.
Okay, Lop. When you abuse my goodwill,
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I want to join you in welcoming colleagues back from this short, long, whatever the case may be, recess. Again, it is sad that government is not properly constituted here yet. My colleague mentioned that there is 5 dozens of ministers. That's actually not entirely true. There are 6.5 dozens when you to do the math. So it's important that representation here gets to be good. Honourable Speaker, I have 2 quick issues. There's a lot that's been happening during recess, but now that we are here, I thought that I would bring these 2 quick issues to the attention of government. We have had, and Honourable Speaker, I'm sure you have taken note of media reports, international media, showing that there is a deal that's been agreed upon between the US government and the Uganda government to bring US deportees here. We don't know whether they are former criminals or whatever or current, whatever the case might be. The Minister of State for Internal Foreign Affairs, Honorable Okello Oryem, denied these reports initially, but then the reports persisted days later. I think it's important for government to help us understand here. Is it true? If so, how? What's the arrangement? What kind of people are these? Do they not have their countries where they originally come from? Why Uganda? And if Uganda, where? I think all of these issues need to come through. And if the reports are untrue, it would be good that they clarify here on the floor of Parliament and say it is entirely untrue. Then we know how to proceed. But if it is true, let's not operate surreptitiously. The country needs to know who are these. Somebody might wake up and there's a criminal as their neighbor and they have no idea. The second issue and final issue, Right Honourable Speaker. For the umpteenth time, Right Honourable Speaker, I've raised issues to do with prisoners who, as a result of the Supreme Court ruling on the 31st of January this year, which was to the effect that civilians have no place before military courts. And all those files should be transferred to civilian courts. That was an order of the Supreme Court. Up until now, Honourable Speaker, that has not happened. Each time we raise the issue here, the Attorney General has said, well, Article 120, the DPP cannot be ordered around. The DPP, who is now exiting that office to become principal judge, has not moved. We get back to you, government. What is happening? Honourable Speaker, there has been 2 recent rulings. One, Sechitole Koyasin, also known as Machete versus Uganda, and another, Agaba Anthony, also known as Bob Biang versus Uganda. These 2 were sent to jail by the court-martial. Now, the court-martial is functus official, no longer has any jurisdiction over them. They went to the High Court to seek bail as their cases get to be processed whichever way. There is 2 rulings here, one by the Honourable Justice Professor Andrew Hauha and the Honourable Justice Emmanuel Baguma that I want to lay here. These rulings are to the effect, court was saying, we cannot entertain a matter which has not been properly brought before us as the High Court. So the High Court was saying the Supreme Court said those files should be transferred to the civilian courts, the High Court. That has not happened yet. And so court is saying, you go back to jail because for us we don't have any authority over you. There is ping pong, Right Honourable Speaker. Rights are being trampled upon. Justice is not being served. Where should these people go? Because that would also mean they are illegally in jail. Because the court-martial that sent them to jail is functus official, has no authority over them anymore. The High Court, which should be entertaining their matters, is saying, you're not before us, we don't know you. Where should they run to? Honourable Speaker, government needs to clarify this matter. Are they in perpetual violation of a Supreme Court ruling? What's happening exactly? We need to know. And I've tabled the rulings, Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we shall get a clarification from the Attorney General on that. But then on the first one, we have a gateway to it. We should not just speculate that there was an agreement. We will ask the Minister to bring a report as per Rule 41 of the Rules of Procedure. That is presentation of treaties, protocols, or international agreements before Parliament. So we'll expect that from the Minister responsible. Yes.
I want to thank you very much. You did speak about the political season we are in. For me, I came here ready to congratulate you for your victory against the former speaker. But I had also thought that the NRM would be generous to celebrate with us what transpired in Kololo. We saw chairs flying in air. But I thought we would start with congratulating you, the Speaker of Parliament, for your big victory. But related to that, Madam Speaker, in this political season, because I saw you in the last Parliament, we were celebrating smaller things. The former Speaker was about, I don't know how many years, you brought flowers here for her. So I thought when you contest and win an election, Parliament should congratulate you, because in the past it has congratulated the smaller things. So, Madam Speaker,
Honorable
can I
Semuju,
raise my issue, Madam Speaker?
Honorable Semuju, those are our internal matters for NRM.
No, Madam Speaker, I don't, because when you say they are internal, I'll leave it, but political parties are public institutions. But for me, Madam Speaker, another issue related to politics, the deteriorating civic space. I have just had a conversation with this State Minister for Foreign Affairs. I had a smaller meeting this afternoon as MP for Chira Municipality with my constituents near where you get the police. The tents have been confiscated. I was in Mitiana as the Chief of Staff and Brand Manager of PFF to open an office swearing new leaders and introduce my party to that area. Police said you cannot have a meeting in a tent, maybe you go in a hall. We were walked 3 kilometers to the Catholic church outside the city. And then when we were coming back to open the office, they said you were in a procession and tear gassed us. They are the ones who took us there. Then they said, don't come back to open the office, you are in a procession. Tear gas. So I wanted you, Madam Speaker, since we have the Minister of Internal Affairs, tell us if political parties are banned. If an MP cannot address a meeting in his constituency, that we should go and look for permits. Our leader, Dr. Kizza Besigye, who fought for the freedom of this country, remains in jail 8 months later. The one who was tweeting President Museveni when he was sick in Ruwero. And that's why, by the way, when you are defeating the Honorable Kadaga, I was very happy. The senior people have conspired to let down the country. You want to take away my happiness? It is mine, it is personal. So Dr. Besigye, who fought, I saw her, she said she was very senior. There are those who were with Museveni in the bush, tweeted him. Sam Mugumia, who was with you in FDC before I joined, he was kidnapped. Up to now, we don't know where he is. So my issue, Madam Speaker, is the issue of deteriorating civic space that I ask the minister responsible, since he's here, to tell us.
Thank you. Honourable members, you will hear from the minister. It seems he's not aware of it. You've spoken to him? You said you spoke to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, not Internal Affairs. You spoke to Foreign Affairs. So you need to give your information to Internal Affairs so that he's able to come and respond with all the evidence and that kind of thing. Let's not just... Can we go to the next item? You people.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the flexibility. The Honourable Semuju, in passing, mentions the abduction of a citizen well known to all of us in the name of Sam Mugumya, that up to now, his whereabouts are unknown. Will the Ministry of Internal Affairs volunteer information to this country whether he's in knowledge of the whereabouts of one Sam Mugumya or not, and if he does know where he is, to understand why he's not anywhere in any court, and whatever is happening to him, that his family can have an idea of how to rescue him in a formal way. Right, Honourable Speaker, abduction is a big thing in this country. We have jostled about it here. We have had issues here with abduction and disappearances. Shall we add Sam Mugumya on the list of missing Ugandans when actually was in Uganda? Shall we have that clarified, right, Honourable Speaker?
Thank you. You will come back with a report to give us that information on where Sam Mugumya is. Next item.
Item 3 on the order paper. Laying of papers, 3-1.
No, you can't just ambush him and tell him, does he know Sam Mugumya? Apart from me who knows Sam Mugumya. I know Sam Mugumya. But you may not know him.
Then why did he come
Honorable
here if he's
Minister,
useless?
Take note of the issue of Sam Mugumya, and then you let us know. Next item.
Item 3-1. Proposal to borrow up to euros 9.4 million from Unicredit Bank Austria for the construction and equipping of Mbale Oncology Center, and United States dollars 36.5 million from the Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbale Oncology Center.
Honourable members, Article 159(2) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda conditions the government borrowing to parliamentary approval, and pursuant to Rule 162(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister of Finance to table the proposal. Yes. Order on what?
Madam Speaker, a while ago, you asked this minister whether he has authority to represent the government, and he said he didn't have. Is he now in order to begin trafficking loan requests?
He's the
when
Minister
we don't
of
have
Finance.
But he said he doesn't, the government has
He's
not
the
sent
Minister
him.
of Finance. Minister. You know, we are in election time. If Honorable Samuju doesn't speak anything, he may lose his vote. So he's using that to get the vote. Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, can you lay the loan? Can we have the loans laid
Madam
first,
Speaker,
then you come in?
I beg to lay the proposal to borrow up to euro 9.4 million from Unicredit Bank Austria for the construction and equipping of Mbale Oncology Center, and US dollars 36.5 million from Islamic Development Bank for the construction of Arua Oncology Center and radiotherapy equipment for the Mbale Oncology Center. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Pursuant to Rule 162 of the Rules of Procedure, the proposal stands referred to Committee of National Economy for expeditious consideration. And remember, we are going to have a break soon, so we should consider this as fast as possible. Yes, Goretti.
I want to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and I also join...
Goretti, first of all, where are the reports from PAC?
Right Honourable Speaker, some of them are about to reach your desk. We've signed, we are missing a few signatures, Right Honourable.
Honourable Loeb, we are signing you the whole week for all your reports in PAC. If we don't have the reports, we shall consider omnibus.
Right Honourable, I know you've allowed us to proceed processing business without us knowing a clear representative of government the other side. You asked of where the Prime Minister was, and all the colleagues denied that none of them is representing government. Right Honourable Speaker, much as we did not support the motion for not to proceed with the business of the House, but how I wish you can guide this House to know who is representing government on the other side, because it looks as if we are speaking to ourselves, Right Honourable Speaker. How I wish you can conclude on that matter before we proceed with business. I want to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Next item. I'll give you after this.
Item 3.2, proposal to borrow up to United States dollars 99.56 million from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, to finance the proposed Resilient Livestock Value Chain Project, RELIV.
Honourable members, pursuant to Article 159(2) of the Constitution of the Republic, which conditions government's borrowing to Parliament approval, and pursuant to Rule 162(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister of Finance to table the loan proposal.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the proposal to borrow up to US dollars 99.56 million from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, to finance the proposed Resilient Livestock Value Chain Project. I beg to lay.
Thank you, honourable members. This particular loan, the loan request, has a significant urgency. The deadline of signing this loan is on 12th September 2025, but because we've been on recess, short recess, we could not accommodate it, and failure to have it processed before that would call for a cancellation of this loan, and it has an aspect of a grant. This loan has an aspect of a grant. I want to request the Committee of National Economy that you consider this loan and report back on Tuesday. Honourable Atkins.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to present a matter that is more or less a disaster waiting to happen in Kasese. Madam Speaker.
Can we, Honourable Atkins, with due respect, can we first finish this, and I'll give you time to raise that, so that we don't distort the way the answer will be. I'll give you space. I'll give you space after. Yes.
Item 3.3.
I'll give you.
Item 3.3. Proposal to borrow up to euros 188.18 million, equivalent to units of accounts 150 million, from the African Development Bank, and euros 28.31 million, equivalent to units of accounts 22.57 million, from the African Development Fund as additional financing for the construction of Busega Mpigi Expressway project.
Similarly, according to Article 159(2), we need a parliamentary approval, and Rule 162(1). This Rules 161 of Rules of Procedure of Parliament. I will invite the Minister to lay the proposal on the table.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the proposal to borrow up to euros 188.18 million, an equivalent of UA 150 million, from the African Development Bank, and euro 28.31 million, equivalent to UA 22.57 million, from the African Development Fund, as additional financing for the construction of Segampigi Expressway project. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 162.2 of Rules of Procedure, the loan proposal stands referred to Committee of National Economy.
Item 3.4, report on public debt, grants, guarantees, and other financial liabilities for the financial year 2024-2025.
Honorable members, the Uganda debt policy is governed by a robust legal regime spelled out in the 1995 Constitution. The Public Finance Management Act 2015, the Treasury Bill Act 1969, the Treasury Accounting Instructions 2017, and the Bank of Uganda Act 2000, among others. Article 159(4) of the Constitution and Section 39(4), 42(2), 42(3), 44(5) of the Public Finance Management Act 2025 variously requires the Minister of Finance to furnish Parliament with the periodic reports on the public debt, guarantees, and financial liabilities. And pursuant to Rule 32.1 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I want to invite the Minister of Finance to table the report in regard to the public debt. Honorable Minister. Yes, procedure.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's a matter relating to the record of this House. While submitting, the records of Parliament from ICT captured me as Nyano Mukungwe, in brackets NUP. It's a serious mispresentation of fact to capture a whole party president as following another party. May we know what's happened to our records and the ICT? Are they alien to our systems?
Honorable Fomalop, the vehicle that is indicated there is the one which brought you to Parliament, and the one that you have now is in preparation for the next election. But I want to ask my people to correct that record. It was a mistake.
Yeah, Right Honourable Speaker.
Yes, they are using the vehicle which you used for coming
It's
in.
wrong, Right Honourable Speaker. Unless I went to the wrong law school, that's a wrong record of the answer.
Correct the record.
It cannot be captured that way. Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Minister, correct the record of each person in their political parties. For us, we are proudly in the NRM.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to lay on table a report on public debt, grants and guarantees, and other financial liabilities for financial year 2024-2025. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, pursuant to Rule 184 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to the Committee of National Economy for expeditious consideration. National Economy, you have a lot of work, and we need all these reports. Next.
Item 3.5, reports of the Auditor General on the audit of financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024 for the following entities. A, agricultural credit facilities. B, small business recovery fund. C, the Departed Asians Property Custodian Board. D, Uganda Seeds Limited. E, Sorotis Fruits Limited.
Honourable members, pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution of Republic of Uganda, Section 16.2 and Section 19.3 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 187 of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Parliamentary Commissioner to table the report of the Auditor General. Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on audit of financial statements of the Agricultural Credit Facility for financial year for the year ended 30th June 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honourable Member, and pursuant to Rule 187.3 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to the Committee of Public Accounts Committee, Commissions, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises for consideration.
Item 3.6, report of the Auditor General on the audit.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on the audit of the financial statements of Small Business Recovery Fund for the financial year ended 30th June 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. I now refer it to the Committee of COSASE.
Item 3.7, report of the Auditor General on the Fund Accountability Statement of the COVID-19 Economic Recovery and Resilience Response Program implemented by the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda for the year ended 31st May 2023.
Commissioner.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on the Fund Accountability Statement of the COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Response Program implemented by Private Sector Foundation Uganda for the year ended 31st May 2023. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 187.3 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to Committee of COSASE as Commissions, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises.
Item 3.8, report of the Auditor General on the Fund Accountability Statement of Young Africa Works Uganda Lead Farm Structure Project for the year ended 31st December 2022.
Commissioner.
I don't have it.
He has so many reports to lay, that's why he's looking at them.
What is your hurry? We are all here. You stay.
Now, the next one is put them in order. So I can be laying as you. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on the Fund Accountability Statement of Young African Works Uganda, Lead Farm Structure Project for the year ended 31st December 2022.
Thank
I
you.
beg to lay.
Thank you. The report is referred to the committee. Accountability Committee. Next.
Item 3.9. Just a minute. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Islamic Development Bank operational special account for the quarter ended 30th September 2024.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Islamic Development Bank Operations Special Account for the quarter ended 30th September 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 187.3, the report is referred to the Committee of PAC. Charity, welcome back. PAC Central.
Item 3.10, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements
Honorable
of the...
Law, you mean you've not seen Madam Charity? Hey. Yes.
Item 3.10, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024 for the following entities: Post Bank Uganda Limited, Uganda Development Bank Limited, Housing Finance Bank Limited.
Honorable members, pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Section 16, 2 and 19 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 187 of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Parliamentary Commissioner to table the report of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the reports of the Auditor General for the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024 for the following entities: Post Bank Uganda Limited, I beg to lay.
Thank you.
Uganda Development Bank Limited, I beg to lay.
Thank you.
Housing Finance Bank Limited, I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 187.3, the reports stand referred to Committee of Public Accounts, COSASE, Commission, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises.
Item 3.11, report of the Auditor General on the audit of the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund Program, supportive Uganda's COVID-19 response mechanism, implemented by the Ministry of Health, grant name COVID-19 response mechanism funds for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024.
Honorable members, pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution and Section 16, 2 and 19 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 180 of the Rules of Procedure. I now invite the Parliamentary Commissioner to table the report of the Auditor General. Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on table a report of the Auditor General on the audit of the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund Program supporting Uganda's COVID-19 response mechanism implemented by the Ministry of Health under grant name COVID-19 Response Mechanism Fund for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you, honorable members. Pursuant to Rule 183 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to Committee of Park Central Government for expeditious consideration.
Item 3.12, report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for Global Fund support to Uganda, supporting Uganda's strategy for acceleration towards elimination of malaria implemented by the Ministry of Health, grant name UGA-M, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, grant number 1886 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024.
Honorable members, pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution and Sections 16.2 and 19.3 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 18 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I will invite the Parliamentary Commissioner to table the report of Auditor General.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table a report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the Global Fund, support to Uganda, supporting Uganda's strategy for acceleration towards elimination of malaria implemented by the Ministry of Health under grant name UGA-M, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, grant number 1886 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 18, Sub-Rule 3, the report stands referred to a Committee of Park Central.
Item 3.13, report of the Auditor General on the financial audit of the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund supporting Uganda's tuberculosis reduction strategy program, grant name UGA-T, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, grant number 3597 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024.
Pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution and Sections 16.2 and 19.3 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 18 of the Rules of Procedure, the Parliamentary Commissioner will lay the report.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on table a report of the Auditor General on the financial audit for the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund project supporting Uganda's tuberculosis reduction strategy, program grant name UGA-T, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, under grant number 3597 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 183 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to the Committee of Park Central.
Item 314, report of the Auditor General on the financial audit of the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund Program supporting Uganda's response to HIV, implemented by the Ministry of Health, grant name UGA-H, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, grant number 01873 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024.
Pursuant to Article 163, 4 and 5 of the Constitution and Section 16.2 and 19.3 of the National Audit Act 2008 and Rule 18 of the of Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Commissioner to lay the report.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Auditor General on the financial audit of the Special Purpose Grant financial statements of the Global Fund Program supporting Uganda's response to HIV, implemented by the Ministry of Health under grant name UGA-H, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, grant number 1873 for the period 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 183 of the Rules of Procedure, the report stands referred to the Committee of Park Central.
Item 4 on the order paper, petition of Uganda Local Governments Association, ULGA, and Urban Authorities Association of Uganda on the status of service delivery in local governments.
Honourable members, before we have the member representing the petitioners, in the public gallery this afternoon we have a delegation of the NRM members in the diaspora. They've come to observe the proceedings in the House. Please join me in welcoming them. Just stand up and we see you. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Those are our members in the diaspora. They are from over 20 countries. Thank you so much for coming. This is your parliament, a people-centered parliament. You're most welcome. And they voted very wisely. Pardon? Whoever has members in the diaspora, please bring. This is a people-centered parliament. And members in the diaspora, when we're in the House here, we are all members of parliament. We don't talk about political parties. We are all members of the of parliament, and we represent all of you. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Atkins, you had something?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, can I request you that let's not smuggle in matters of national importance as when the proceedings are going on. After the proceedings, we can bring in matters of national importance. Let's not distort the Hansard. Is it a matter of national importance? Is it related to what has been read? Is it related to the petition? Can we have the petition first? The person who can speak on the petition is Ethel because she's the shadow. Honorable members, petitions are avenues of public participation in legislative decision making. Through the public seeks a specific remedy from Parliament. I received a petition from Uganda Local Government Association, ULGA, and the urban authorities on the state of service delivery in local governments. As we are all aware, local governments are under the front line of the public service delivery. Therefore, any concern about service delivery should be treated with urgency. Pursuant to Rule 31 of the Rules of Procedure, I would like to invite Honorable Kugonza, MP Buyaga East County, to present Buyanja, the petition. Honorable Emily. And I'm also happy that the Minister of Local Government is in the House. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, allow me to congratulate you on the recent resounding victory for the position of the second National Vice Chairperson, Central Executive Committee of the Yes, internal to all of us.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, allow me to lay on table the petition titled Uganda Local Governments Association and Urban Authorities Association of Uganda petition on the issues affecting service delivery at local government level. I beg to lay.
Please do.
I will attempt, Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, to read verbatim the petition as mentioned. Madam Speaker, this petition is brought by the Uganda Local Government Association and Urban Authorities Association of Uganda to draw urgent attention to the deteriorating quality of service delivery at the local government level across the country. While national resources and programs exist, incremental gains in local governance are being eroded by systematic gaps in induction, remuneration, staffing, transport, road maintenance, planning capacity, revenue administration, and electoral timing. The present communications call for concrete time-bound action by Parliament and relevant ministries to restore and sustain local service delivery, strengthen local government accountability, and accelerate sustainable development outcomes for communities. In the summary of issues, the petition identifies 10 priority areas where reforms are needed to improve local service delivery. The overarching objective is to secure timely, adequately funded, and well-coordinated interventions that align with Uganda's development priorities and constitutional responsibilities. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, issue number 1, induction of local government leaders. There has been no comprehensive induction for local government elected leaders this term. The absence of a standardized onboarding process leaves new leaders ill-equipped to navigate the distinctive duties of local governance, understand their constitutional responsibilities, and internalize the accountability frameworks that govern local public service delivery. Without robust action, local government leaders struggle to align local planning with national development priorities, miss critical procedures for budget, procurement, and oversight, and fail to establish legitimacy with the communities that rely on them for concrete and transparent action. This undermines the discipline, coordination, and the performance expectations embedded in decentralization. The proposed action, Madam Speaker and honorable members, Parliament should allocate funds for a rapid, comprehensive induction program for local government leaders as soon as they are sworn in, modeled on the induction provided to other elected officers. 2, establish a concrete completion timeline, for example, within the first 100 days of swearing in, with progress reports to Parliament every Saturdays until the program is completed. 3, include a formal debrief to assess the impact of the induction on local governance performance and accountability, and publish the findings to inform subsequent iterations. Issue number 2, salaries for political leaders in local governments. Full-time political leaders from local council 1 through district to city levels perform critical duties that directly influence local development, service delivery, and citizen trust. Yet remuneration levels fail to reflect the scope of responsibilities, the unpredictability of local revenue streams, and the rising cost of living. Inadequate pay drives low morale, high turnover, and a difficulty in attracting skilled personnel, which in turn weaken the planning, budgeting, monitoring, and accountability of the local level. When leaders cannot be competitively compensated, communities experience lower response times, reduced quality of public service, and a diminished confidence in governance structures designed to decentralize power and resources. Madam Speaker, the table here clearly indicates the remuneration per political leaders. District chairpersons and city mayors to date get 2,380,000 as gross. The district vice chairpersons and the city deputy mayors receive monthly 1,190,000 shillings gross. District and the city speakers, 724,000 as gross. District and the city executive committee members, 620,000 as gross. City division chairpersons and municipal mayors, 1,190,000 as gross. City division chairpersons and municipal deputy mayors, 620,000 as gross. Municipal divisions, sub-county chairpersons, and town council chairpersons, 412,000 gross. Now, for the category that receives ex gratia, we have district and the city deputy speakers, 400,000 shillings per month. City division and the city division deputy speakers, 300,000 shillings as gross. District and city councillors, 250,000. City divisions, municipal councillors, 250,000. Sub-county, town council, and municipal division councillors, 35,000 per month. And LC1 chairpersons, Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, 10,000 shillings a month. Now, proposed actions. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, the petition, we therefore petition to you to ensure that salaries for all political leaders are urgently enhanced in fulfillment of the government promise. 2, commission a transparent, independent review of salary bands and harmonize them with the government pay policy, producing a revised schedule with clear evidence-based justification. 3, implement the new schedule and institute monitoring and reporting to Parliament within a defined period, for instance, probably 6 to 12 months, with annual reviews thereafter. 4, create a structured mechanism for ongoing dialogue with local government leaders and a transparent transition plan to address implementation challenges and minimize disruption. Issue number 3, Madam Speaker and honorable members, provision of transport for top local government leaders. Local government leaders face chronic transport constraints that impede oversight, timeless supervision of programs, and participation in essential meetings, including those in Kampala. Without reliable mobility, managers cannot promptly monitor project implementation, attend critical planning sessions, or respond to emerging issues, which slows decision-making, undermines supervisions, and weakens accountability to communities. The logistical gaps contribute to uneven service delivery across districts and erode public trust in the decentralization framework as communities observe delays and inconsistent responsiveness from their leaders. We appreciate His Excellency the President and Parliament that approved a supplementary budget for the procurement of district, city, and municipal mayors' vehicles. We further appreciate the efforts being taken by government to procure these vehicles. Proposed action. Government should expedite procurement and delivery of vehicles for the district, city, and municipal leaders with a publicly released implementation timeline. Issue number 4, Madam Speaker and honorable members, is recruitment of staff. Staffing shortages persist nationwide with current levels of roughly 30 to 60% of approved structures. Newly created cities and other units face wage bill challenges and staffing constraints that prevent filling essential positions, hampering core functions such as service delivery, planning, supervision, and community engagement. The resulting vacancies compromise essential processes, basically revenue administration, public works, health education, oversight, and local economic development, leading to backlogs, reduced quality of service, and increased workloads on remaining staff. Communities bear the brunt as essential public functions store undermining confidence in the sensitization framework. Proposed action, Madam Speaker and honorable members, I urge the Ministries of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and Public Service to approve and enable an adequate wage bill to recruit and fill all approved posts across districts, cities, municipalities, and local governments. 2, establish a concrete monitoring plan with targets and deadlines for vacancy reduction, including quarterly reporting to Parliament and an annual public-facing update on staffing levels and service delivery indicators. Issue number 5, Madam Speaker and honorable members, provision of road equipment for cities and municipalities. Urban expansion has outpaced maintenance capacities. Cities and municipalities do not possess the necessary road equipment to maintain roads and support economic activity. Inadequate road equipment leads to poor road quality, longer travel times, safety risks, and higher operational costs for local governments. Without reliable equipment, maintenance cycles slip, potholes proliferate, and investment confidence erodes. This constrains local economic development and public safety and undermines the government's ability to deliver reliable infrastructure services that are critical to growth and livelihoods. Proposed actions. Number 1, allocate and deploy essential road equipment as follows. Each of the 10 cities to receive a full set of road equipment. Each of the 31 municipalities to receive a motor grader, a roller, and 5 tipper trucks. Each town council to receive a tractor to support waste management and related works. 2, implement a phased procurement plan with a defined timeline and funding envelope, including a mechanism for maintenance, replacement cycles, and deployment oversight. 3, in the new term of office, the old district road units should be replaced given the heavy deployment as a result of the Uganda shillings 1 billion support from government. Issue number 6, Madam Speaker and honorable members, road fund for town councils and sub-counties. A substantial number of newly created town councils, approximately 356, and sub-counties, over 356, established in 2017-2018 financial year, have not received road maintenance funds, resulting in impassable roads, hindered physical planning, and stunted local economic development. The absence of maintenance funding curtails access to markets, health facilities, and schools, disrupts transport and supply chains, exaggerates costs of living, and undermines environmental and land use planning. Over time, this neglect entrenches regional disparities, discourages investment, and weakens the resilience of communities to weather-related and economic shocks. Proposed actions, Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues. 1, direct the Ministry of Works and Transport to allocate road maintenance funds to these newly created units without delay. 2, establish a robust monitoring and reporting framework to track disbursement, project execution, and measurable improvements in road conditions and local development indicators. Issue number 7, physical planning grant. Physical planning is essential for harmonious and sustainable urban development. Delays and underfunding strengthens the realization of housing, urbanization, and integrated settlement envisioned in national planning frameworks. Without adequate grants, districts and urban authorities cannot produce coherent land use plans, invest in infrastructure alignment, or ensure that growth is managed in an orderly fashion. Poor planning leads to speculative development, inefficient service delivery, and strained public resource resources as communities cope with uncoordinated expansion, poor housing conditions, and rising demands for basic services. Proposed actions. Number 1, prioritize fiscal planning funding with annual allocations as follows. Each district and a city to get Uganda shillings 500 millions. Each municipality, Uganda shillings 300 millions. Each town council, Uganda shillings 200 millions. Each sub-county, Uganda shillings 100 million. 2, provide a justification and a staged rollout plan with periodic reviews to ensure alignment with the National Fiscal Plan and measurable planning outcomes. Madam Speaker and honorable members, issue number 8, centralization of local government revenue administration. Parliament and the Cabinet resolution to decentralize local revenues in the Consolidated Fund have not been fully implemented. While digital platforms have improved transparency, local revenues continue to be remitted to the Consolidated Fund, undermining local autonomy and revenue management. This fragmentation risks eroding locally specific fiscal discipline, reduces the capacity of local prioritization, and weakens accountability mechanisms at the community level. It also complicates revenue forecasting and constrains the ability to match funding with local needs. Proposed actions. Direct the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to implement Parliament and Cabinet decisions to allow local government to stay remissions of local revenues to the Consolidated Fund. 2, restrict the applicability of the Public Finance Management Act to the central governments. 3, recommend a precise Finance Act or legislation that apply to local governments and harmonize with the Local Government Act Cap 138 with a transparent implementation timetable. Issue number 9, Madam Speaker and honorable members, regular elections of Local Council 1 and Local Council 2. Irregular conduct and repeated extensions of LC1s and LC2 terms undermine timely local democracy and governance, creating governance gaps at the grassroots level and risking broader governance challenges at the national level. Delays in local elections erode citizen confidence, disrupt service delivery planning cycles, and amplify tensions between communities and the public sector. The lack of timely, predictable electoral timelines also weakens the legitimacy of local leadership and complicates the synchronization of local with national elections. Proposed actions. Instruct the Commission, the Electoral Commission, to align LC1 and LC2 elections with the general elections to promote consistency and strengthen local democracy. 2, establish a clear electoral timetable that fits within the national calendar with the defined milestones and a mechanism for accountability if timelines are not met. Issue number 10, the ring fencing of URGA's subvention. URGA seeks a ring-fenced subvention to strengthen the institution's capacity building and policy reform research. The absence of protected funding risks fragmentation, undermines long-term strategic planning, and constrains the ability of local governments reform bodies to deliver evidence-based policy advocacy. Without secured resources, URGA's capacity to monitor implementation, carry out research, and support local government in reform efforts is handicapped, and reducing the overall effectiveness of decentralization and policy engagement with Parliament and government. Proposed actions. 1, reconfirm and operationalize previously recommended subventions. For example, Uganda shillings 2 billion to URGA and Uganda shillings 1 billion to the Urban Association within a ring-fenced multi-year funding engagement. 2, establish governance and reporting requirements for the subvention, including milestones, audits, and annual impact reports with a published timeline for release and disbursement. In closing, Madam Speaker and honorable members, given the importance of regular interaction, coordination, and partnership We further request you to hold quarterly meetings with the leadership of Uganda Local Governments Association and Urban Authorities Association, and by annual interactions with the wider local government political leaders fraternity. The regular interactions will promote the sharing of successes, challenges, and good practices, and updates on government programs to the local government fraternity. Madam Speaker, during this term of office, URGA and its membership has not interacted with its patron, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, despite several attempts. It is therefore our prayer that you secure a meeting between His Excellency and URGA's leadership and its members. Finally, the issues outlined in this petition collectively shape the quality and timeliness of service delivery across all local governments. Addressing them is essential to restoring trust between communities and government, strengthening local accountability, and accelerating inclusive development. We respectfully urge you to champion the required actions by directing the relevant ministries to produce concrete implementation plans, funding commitments, and monitoring mechanisms. A successful collaborative response will not only improve local governance, but also reinforce the legitimacy and effectiveness of Parliament as the principal accountability institution for Uganda's decentralized system. URGA and UAAU stand ready to participate in the design, oversight, and evaluation of these initiatives and to report progress to Parliament at a defined intervals. This was duly signed by Awan Andrew, the president of URGA, who is also the district chairperson of Kole, and certainly read by me. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Honorable Emily. And this is a very, very important petition for all of us, since all of us come from local governments. And they raise very legitimate issues. Minister, we've had a discussion. I have had a discussion with the minister on these issues. Yes.
Madam Speaker, because those are key matters in local service delivery, can we have the petition laid? Thank you.
Yes, laid. You know, Nani is taking your time. That young boy is taking your time. He laid it on table.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker.
Shadow Minister, I will give you a copy.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, Right Honorable Speaker, we have a cordial relationship with the Shadow Minister of Local Government, and we shall certainly share the documents and the responses. Allow me, Right Honorable, to thank you most heartedly for allowing the petition of the local governments here on the floor of Parliament.
Thank you.
And I also like to thank the local government associations. We have two national associations, Uganda Local Government Association and the Urban Authorities Association of Uganda. The speakers also have their own association, Uganda District Speakers Association, IDICOSA. They are playing a very good role. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to inform the House, I was actually the Secretary General of URGA before I came to Parliament. And I'm very well versed with these issues, and I would like to thank them. These are the real issues we have in local government. Much as I could have answered them right here, I thought it would be prudent to have the minister's response properly documented. I beg to request that you allow me just one day. Tomorrow I can bring an orderly response to each of these issues.
On actions being taken.
Right Honourable Speaker, most obliged.
We need actions being taken, not just lamentations. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We've increased LOC ones. Don't worry. Next item. Shadow, you will speak tomorrow. The minister, put it on the order paper. First item, a report from the minister. Then we shall give LOP and Shadow.
Item 5 on the order paper. Bill second reading.
Honorable members, in the public gallery we have a former NSSF MD, Mr. David Jamwa. You're most welcome. He's here to observe the proceedings. And also in the public gallery we have members of Uganda Local Government and Urban Government Association. Where are you? Please stand. You're most welcome. Welcome. We will have a feedback to your petition tomorrow. We'll have a feedback to this petition tomorrow on the actions being taken. I'm seeing Honorable Kitata there. Welcome, welcome all of you. Thank you for coming. Yes, Honorable Atkins, I am going to give you to speak. Please, my brother. I am going to give you, even Susan is just sitting next to here. Let's just finish this. Even Sarah is here seated waiting. Yes, next.
Item 5 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Building Control Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable members, the Bill Control Amendment Bill 2024 was read for the first time on 9th April 2025 and referred to the Sectoral Committee on Fiscal Planning, Fiscal Infrastructure, and the committee is ready to report. Pursuant to Rule 136(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Minister who has been designated to do so to move a motion for the second reading. Honorable Musa Asisi.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Let's first move a motion. You want to legislate in anticipation?
Right,
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Is the bill seconded by Honorable the Vice Chairperson Awany Tom, Honorable Charity, Honorable Alanyo, Honorable Nekesa, Honorable Lobo, Honorable Elijah, Honorable Baka Bulindi, Honorable Sake and Honorable Kinyamatama, the couple, Honorable Sarah, Dr. Dr. Patrick, Dr. Rionga, Dr. Boka, Isaac, Basil, Isaac, Noah. Those are enough. Mariam, and Mbale. Honorable Galwango, yes. Would you want to speak to your motion?
Right, Honorable Speaker, the object of this bill is to amend the Building Control Act, Cap 136, to provide for the composition of the board, provide for the powers of the board, provide for the composition of the building committee, and to streamline the procedure for approval of building permits and occupational permits, and provide for other related matters. Madam Speaker, this bill has been considered by the committee and they have made detailed observations, and I want to believe that they are ready to present their report now.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 136(2) of procedures, I want to invite the chairperson of the committee to present the committee report.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, this particular bill.
Which bill?
the report coming to on the building control.
Why don't you first listen to the report, then you bring your issue?
Possibly it might be.
Because all these people have not read to the report. They have not read the report. So let's first hear the report, then you bring your contribution to the report. You're a member of the committee? Okay.
Madam Speaker, this particular it will be a regulatory body for all the buildings in this country. And I found it proper and fitting that we should not have two bodies. This particular body should be the same body to regulate the road sector. Time immemorial, we have had roads being done, people, committing government a lot of money, but there is no body that goes on to standards and quality of the roads we work. So if this body, buildings could be merged with the one for road sector, we would have a better body that would ensure that our roads that are contracted to several companies, that we have quality, because all over the world, there is a regulatory body for road sector. We had UNRA, yes, but UNRA would commit the government, but there would be the same people paying, the same people supervising, and we have had a road deal. Let's go on the right direction by having this building control body incorporating to look after the roads. We are having a bad deal all over because these people are in charge of everything. But this body is going to control the buildings in the whole country because we have had a bad case, people dying. So if we could have that body together with the one for roads.
Did you raise that issue in the committee?
I did.
And then?
People didn't take it serious, but I'm sure this house can handle.
Yes, Asman.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Papa, Nathan.
He's calling him Papa because he's an older man. Respect the elders.
Yes, is there a problem with that?
Sarah.
He raises a fundamental issue, but with due respect at a wrong time. If serious as your issue is, we'll have to consider it here. But even then, even if you raised it and the committee did not take it, the rules allow you, by the way, to present it here at committee stage, even as a member of the committee. The rules permit. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to implore Papa that the matter should be brought here and we synthesize it from here when we reach that stage. And I'm coming there, we share points and we say how to do it. I thank you.
Okay, Chair, can you take us briefly?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give a report of the Committee on Physical Infrastructure on the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay a copy of the report and the minutes of the meetings that process this report. I beg to lay.
Please do.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Building Control Amendment Bill 2024 was read for the first time on 9th April 2025 and referred to the Committee on Physical Infrastructure for consideration and report to the House. The committee considered the bill in accordance with Rule 135 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament and hereby reports. The objective of the bill. Right Honourable Speaker, the objective of the bill, of the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 is to amend the Building Control Act, Cap 136, to provide for the composition of the National Building Review Board, to provide for the powers of the board, and to provide for the composition of the building committees, and to streamline the procedure for approval of building permits and occupational permits. Right Honorable Speaker, in the interest of time, under methodology, I want to invite members to go through the list of stakeholders that the committee engaged in processing this report. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee analysis, observations and recommendations. 1. Composition of the board. Clause 1 proposes to amend Section 3 of the Building Control Act, Cap 136, to aligning the composition of the National Building Review Board to constitute of 9 members. The members include a representative of the ministry responsible for works, a representative of the ministry responsible for gender, a representative of the ministry responsible for lands, a representative of the ministry responsible for local governments, a representative from the Attorney General's chambers, 2 members of the public nominated by the minister, and 2 representatives from any of the following professions: an engineer, an architect, a physical planner, a surveyor, a lawyer, each representative nominated for appointment by the relevant professional body or association. Right Honorable Speaker, the provision of the Principal Act, which Clause 1 seeks to amend, states that, number 1, the board shall consist of A, 1 representative of the department responsible for building works, B, 1 representative of the department responsible for physical planning, C, 1 representative of the ministry responsible for water and environment, D, 1 representative of the department responsible for housing, a representative of the ministry responsible for persons with disabilities, and F, 1 representative of each of the following professions nominated for appointment by the relevant professional body or association: engineers, architects, physical planners, surveyors, lawyers, a public health officer from the Ministry of Health, a representative of persons with disabilities for appointment by the National Council for Disability, a representative for workers nominated for appointment by the National Trade and Union Centers, J, a representative of Uganda Local Authorities Association of Uganda, nominated for appointment by the Uganda Local Governments Association, K, a representative of Urban Authorities Association of Uganda, nominated for appointment by the Association of Urban Authorities. And then 1 person from the private sector nominated for appointment by the private sector foundations. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the proposal and is in agreement with the principle to have a leaner board. Having a leaner board enhances efficiency in decision making, increases accountability, reduces administrative costs, and enhances oversight and governance. Whereas the committee agrees with the principle, the committee is concerned that there are a number of issues that may affect the effectiveness of this provision. For instance, the committee notes the need to specifically provide for representatives that are relevant to matters of building control from the ministries. The clause proposes a representative from the ministry responsible for gender and a representative from the ministry responsible for lands. The committee observes that in as far as sections of gender and lands components of the respective ministries, it is prudent to make specific reference to the relevant departments and the ministries, namely social development and housing, respectively. This will ensure effective implementation of the provision by guiding the ministries on the relevant representative for the board. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also noted that the proposal of having 2 members of the public nominated by the minister on the board will pose serious implementation challenges regarding how the members of the public will be selected and the possibility of one of the members of the public becoming chairperson of such a technical board. Section 2, subsection 3 of the Building Control Act, Cap 136, mandates the minister to appoint all members of the board and designate as chairperson of the board one of the members. Furthermore, the committee observes that the proposal to have a lawyer on the board nominated by the relevant professional body or association while also having a representative from the Attorney General's chambers, is unnecessary because any legal or compliance matters before the board can be addressed by the representative from the Attorney General's chambers, who is a professional lawyer. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendation. In light of the above, the committee recommends that Clause 1 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to A, specifically provide for a representative from the ministry responsible for social development and the ministry responsible for housing. B, delete the proposal to have 2 members of the public nominated by the minister as members of the board. C, delete the proposal to have a lawyer as a member of the board. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, functions of the board. Clause 2 of the bill proposes to amend Section 8 of the Principal Act to expand the functions of the National Building Review Board to hear and determine complaints from any person, a building control officer or a building committee. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee is in agreement with the proposal. However, the committee observes that the provision does not specify what the complaints made by any person, a building control officer, or a building committee will be in regard to. This gap is likely to be exploited by persons who may make complaints to the board on matters unrelated to the mandate of the board. The committee notes that the board should only hear and determine complaints on matters related to approval of building developments or building operations. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendations. Based on the above analysis, the committee recommends that Clause 2 be adopted, albeit with the amendment to specify that the complaints heard and determined by the board shall be in relation to an approval for building development or building operation. Right Honorable Speaker, the Executive Secretary. Clause 4 proposes to amend Section 14 of the Principal Act by requiring that the Executive Secretary be a person with professional qualifications and experience in the building environment, and professional qualification and experiences in either law, management, or public administration. The provision of the Building Control Act, Cap 136, which Clause 4 seeks to amend, states that the Executive Secretary shall be a person with professional qualifications and experience in law, management, or public administration. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee examined the proposal under Clause 4 and appreciates the need for the Executive Secretary to have experience in the built environment, which is comprised of human constructed surroundings that support human activities, including buildings, transport systems, and landscapes. The committee is, however, concerned that the term built environment is overly broad, Right Honorable Speaker, as it encompasses the design, construction, management, and use of these structures as an interrelated system, impacting the behavior and well-being of the people who utilize them. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee is further concerned that practically a person cannot have qualifications in the built environment. However, a person may have qualifications in a particular profession, including engineering, architecture, valuation, and surveying, all of which are pertinent in or related to the built environment. The committee is therefore of the considered opinion that since the term built environment is incapable of exact definition, the term should be replaced with professional qualifications and experience in professions related to the built environment, such as engineering, architecture, and surveying. Recommendations, Right Honorable Speaker. The committee recommends that Clause 4 be adopted with amendments. A, remove the requirement for the Executive Secretary to have professional qualifications and experience in the built environment. B, expand the qualification for the Executive Secretary to include engineering, architecture, valuation, and surveying. Number 4, Right Honorable Speaker, building operations without permit prohibited. Clause 7 of the bill proposes to amend Section 33, subsection 2 of the Principal Act to increase the penalty for a person who carries out a building operation without a valid building permit issued by a building committee to a fine of 1 currency point for every square meter or per linear meter, whichever might be applicable of the build-up area or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. Right Honorable Speaker, the provision of the Building Control Act, Cap 136, which Clause 7 seeks to amend, states that any person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 50 currency points or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or both. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the provision and is in agreement with the principle to increase the penalty for the offense. This is progressive since it will go a long way in addressing the rise in erection of illegal structures and the collapse of buildings in the country. Right Honorable Speaker, whereas the committee is agreeable in principle, it is concerned that the penalty is still not commensurate with the gravity of the offense. The committee notes the increase in the number of illegal structures across the country being erected by persons who have not obtained building permits, and worse still, the rise in the number of structures that collapse and claim multiple lives and property in the country. The committee therefore observes the need to increase the fine to 2 currency points for every square meter or per linear meter, whichever might be applicable, of the build-up area or imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or both, in order to put more stringent measures in place to deter people from carrying out building operations without valid building permits. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendation. Based on the above analysis, the committee recommends that Clause 7 be adopted, albeit with the amendment to enhance the penalty for the offense of carrying out a building operation without a building permit. Application for building permit. Right Honorable Speaker. Clause 8 of the bill proposes to amend Section 34 of the bill to define what amounts to a multi-storied structure or building as a building of a height of more than 6 meters. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee observes that the amendment is intended to guide persons making applications for building permits. The committee agrees with the provision. However, it is concerned that a building of more than 6 meters may not always be a multi-storied building. Certain structures, such as warehouses, usually have a height of more than 6 meters, but are not necessarily deemed to be multi-storied in nature. The committee notes that the need to increase the meters in height for a building to qualify as a multi-storied building to 12 meters. Recommendations, Right Honorable Speaker. In light of the above, the committee recommends that Clause 8 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to increase the meters in height for a building to qualify as a multi-storied structure or buildings. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedure for issuing building permits. Clause 9 of the bill proposes to amend Section 35 of the Principal Act to streamline the procedure for approval of building permits, where the building committee fails to make a decision on the application for a building permit. The clause proposes that where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for a building permit within the period specified, the applicant may make a complaint to the chief administrative officer in the case of a district or the town clerk in the case of an urban council. The committee observed that the use of the term in this section is very broad and applies also to the proposed subsection 9. The committee notes the need to limit the application of the proposed subsection 8 to subsection 1, which requires a building committee to issue a building permit to the applicant within 30 days after the date of receipt of the application for a building permit. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also observes that the bill does not provide an avenue to an applicant where a building committee, after having been directed by the chief administrative officer in the case of a district or the town clerk in the case of an urban council, still fails to make a decision on the application for a building permit. The committee is of the considered opinion that in the interest of justice and in line with the proposal to expand the powers of the board to hear and determine complaints from any person, a building control officer or a building committee under Clause 2, there is a need to provide an appeal mechanism to the board where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for a building permit, after having been directed to do so by the Chief Administrative Officer or the Town Clerk, as the case may be. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommendation. In light of the above, the committee recommends that Clause 9 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to A. Make specific reference to subsection 1, which requires a person to obtain a building permit. B. Provide for an appeal by the applicant to the board where the building committee fails to make a decision on an application following a directive by the Chief Administrative Officer or the Town Clerk. Number 7, the building operations subject to time limit. Right Honourable Speaker, Clause 11 proposes to amend Section 37 of the Principal Act to replace the fine for a person who carries on a building operation in contravention of Section 37 from a fine not exceeding 25 currency points to a fine of 1 currency point per square meter or per linear meter, whichever might be applicable of the build-up area after the expiry of the building permit. Right Honourable Speaker, whereas the committee is agreeable in principle, it is concerned that the penalty is still not commensurate with the gravity of the offence. The committee notes the increase in number of illegal structures across the country being erected by persons who have not obtained building permits, and worse still, the rise in the number of structures that collapse and claim multiple lives and property countywide. The committee observes the need to increase the fine to 2 currency points for every square meter or per linear meter, whichever might be applicable of the build-up area, in order to put more stringent measures in place to deter people from carrying out building operations without valid building permits. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommendation. In light of the above, the committee recommends that Clause 11 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to enhance the penalty for the offence of carrying on a building operations beyond the time limit prescribed by the law. Right Honourable Speaker, the use of unconventional methods, technologies, and materials for building. Clause 14 proposes to amend the Principal Act by providing for use of unconventional methods, technologies, and materials for building. The clause empowers the minister by notice in the Gazette on recommendation of the board to approve the use of unconventional methods, technologies, and material for building. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee examined the proposal and is in agreement with the principle to regulate the use of unconventional methods, technologies, and materials for building. The committee was informed that unconventional methods are essential in shaping a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable future in the built environment. They can lead to more sustainable, cost-effective, and innovative building solutions, often addressing limitations of conventional approaches. They can also improve construction speed, reduce waste, and enhance the overall performance of buildings. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee, however, observes that the use of the term for building limits the purposes for which unconventional methods, technologies, and materials can be used. The Principal Act provides a definition for building operations, which is in a broader and more encompassing term to be used in this provision. Section 1 of the Building Control Act, Cap 136, defines the term building operations to mean any act done in relation to the following: A, the erection of a building; 2, the demolition of a building; C, any temporary work on a permanent building; D, plumbing; E, drainage; F, repairs, renovations, alterations, and extensions of a building; G, erosion control works; or H, the installation of utilities, including electricity and gas. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee is of the considered opinion that for effective implementation of this provision, the use of unconventional methods, technologies, and materials be in regard to building operations. Recommendations, Right Honourable Speaker. In light of the above, the committee recommends that Clause 14 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to using a term that is broader in application than the term for building. Right Honourable Speaker, occupation permit. Clause 15 proposes an amendment to Section 43 to streamline the procedure for approval of occupation permits, where the building committees fails to make a decision on the application of an occupation permit. The clause proposes that where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for a building permit within the period specified, the applicant may make a complaint to the chief administrative officer in the case of a district or the town clerk in the case of an urban council. The committee observed that the use of the term in this section is very broad and applies also to the proposed subsection 7. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee notes the need to limit the application of the proposed subsection 6 to subsection 1, which requires a building committee to issue a building permit to the applicant within 30 days after the date of receipt of the application for a building permit. The committee also observes that the bill does not provide an avenue to an applicant where a building committee, after having been directed by the chief administrative officer in the case of a district or the town clerk in the case of an urban council, still fails to make a decision on the application for a building permit. The committee is of the considered opinion that in the interest of justice and in line with the proposal to expand the powers of the board to hear and determine complaints from any person, a building control officer or a building committee in clause 2, there is need to provide an appeal mechanism to the board where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for a building permit after having been directed to do so by the chief administrative officer or the town clerk, as the case may be. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee also recommends that in light of the above, Clause 15 stands part of the bill, albeit with the amendment to A, makes specific reference to subsection 1, which requires a person to obtain a building permit. B, provide for an appeal by the applicant to the board where the building committee fails to make a decision on an application following a directive by the chief administrative officer or the town clerk. Right Honorable Speaker, the general observations on the bill. The committee notes that there is need to define the term urban council used in the bill. This need arises majorly due to the fact that the Local Governments Act, Cap 138, in Section 1, defines urban council to include city, municipal division, and town council. The committee was informed by the National Building Review Board that currently building committees only exists at the city, district, and municipality, and therefore there is a need to define what an urban council means for purposes of the Building Control Act, Cap 136. The committee observed that to ensure effective implementation of the bill, there is need to include definition of the term urban council. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends that a provision is made in the bill for the definition of urban council. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to report.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, when you look at occupational permit, you're talking about the urban council, the town clerk, in the case of the district, and then cow in the case of the district, and then the other. What about in the case of a city? Don't we need to align it in line with the new administrative units?
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. I think in the case of the city clerk, consequential amendment can come in.
Yes, it should be across the board. Where there is an amendment on that, it should bring issues of the city too. Any other? In the ample sense of, yes, Laura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have a comment on the issue of the composition of the board. I think that the committee is proposing the removal of a representative of persons with disabilities. I would like...
No. They are removing a persons who have been, if you look specifically, provide for representation from the ministry responsible for social development and ministry for housing. Delete a proposal to have a member of the public nominated by the minister as a member of the board, and then delete the proposal to have a lawyer as a member of the board. They are deleting 3.
So they are not removing the,
No.
the representative of persons with disabilities?
Chair, are you removing a person with a person representing disabilities? They are not.
Right, Honorable Speaker, like you noted, we are not going to delete persons with disabilities.
And the essence of deleting a lawyer is that because we have somebody from AG's office, the issue of deleting 2 persons from the public is that we have somebody nominated by the public sector. I think they are removing what is being duplicated.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, yes, Christine.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Still on the composition, there is a provision of bringing on 2 people. Honorable Speaker, somebody well acquainted with public health should be part of that other than leaving the appointment of 2 people whose professions may not be known. Would rather put specifically a person well known in public health than leaving it open. Thank you.
When you look at F, 1 person of each of the following professions nominated for appointment by a relevant professional body or association. 1 is engineers, but I want to take you to G, a public health officer from the ministry responsible for health. It is one of the people. You have the report, Christine? Yes, it is one of them. Yes, Doctor? And Bish?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the chair and the members for the report. I just wanted to get a clarification on 1 or 2 issues. Issue number 1 is the representation of someone from an environmental background, given the need for us to have environmentally friendly buildings. The second is related to access and the respect of road reserves. A case in point is where building committees approve structures near the road. For example, if you move from Chira along that road, there are buildings that have been put, and I believe approved by a committee on the road or road reserves, and now are becoming a liability to the government to compensate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
I hope you're taking note, Chair.
Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to congratulate you upon the win of last week. But also, I would like to raise an issue on the height, because the report as it is, it suggests that 12 meters would mean that a 4-story building might not need a building plan. So I think we need to be very...
No, I think you did not hear it very well. Whatever building it is, it requires a building plan. It requires, it is in the report. And what I would advise you members, let's wait and go to the clauses. And we discuss clause by clause so that we make amendment on a clause. That would be something which is better. Yes?
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, can I get clarification from the committee chair? Because at the end, they are bringing the matter of the town council and they want to change the definition of an urban council. Yet it's already, the town council is already catered for under the district under the district level. So where are they finding
We shall look
it?
at that on interpretation.
Thank you.
When we are defining what a town council is.
Thank you.
Yes, youth.
Honorable Speaker, first of all, congratulations on your recent win. Secondly, I want to thank the government for finally picking interest and bringing this bill forward. As professionals in the building sector, we are very excited. However, Honorable Speaker, I want to note when the chair was reading the report, it is something that perhaps could have disturbed the committee when they were discussing on the issue of built environment being brought. I understand it could have caused some issues, but when I look at it, when you say engineering and the surveying, you lock out so many professionals who are under the School of Built Environment. There are so many, including land economics, land surveying, and all that. All those have knowledge of the built environment. So I request that when we are doing clause by clause, we think about that we could be locking out some people from being executive secretaries, and yet they have knowledge of construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, yes, Hilary.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Congratulations. I'm also looking on the issue of utility companies like power and water. Because, for example, they don't include them in the plans when they are making designs. Because you find that even after construction, you find that the utility companies come and destroy some of the plans that have been put in place. So there should be agreements or MOUs in place so that when the plans are done, even utility companies should be part of those agreements and MOUs. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Okay. We are talking about the board, building board. And we are also looking at who should be part of that board. And the committee gives specifications that the board should be represented by persons, and it gives the number of the names, the qualifications, persons with a disability, the surveyors, the engineers. So the Honorable Hillary is saying you should also bring those persons with the utilities. Yes, Kubex.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The way I look at the report, something to do with the sanctions of whoever builds in a road reserve is not clearly put. So maybe in our amendments we need to be very stringent, because there are other countries where if you have in...
we are looking at a person who builds, who does not follow the standards,
yes,
and the quality of the building. That is the sanctions that was given. Not so, Chair. If you don't follow these collapsing buildings and whichever.
Madam Speaker was adding that in other countries, when you build in a road reserve...
Now, those ones of road reserves are in the Road Act. Let's not mix it. Road Act has those who build in the road reserve. Now, these ones are those who don't comply with the quality and the standards of the building.
And then,
so
Madam,
there is a law to that.
Okay. Madam Speaker, I had two. The second one is about the other meter, where he said that if it is 6 meters, that it may not require a plan. I don't agree with him, because we need to have a stronger foundation right from the beginning. But should you say that you move it to 12, I think that one is not proper. So I would also urge that when we go to the amendments, let's leave the 6 meters as a minimum. I thank you.
Thank you. Chair, do you want to make a clarification?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In regards to the height of a building, for it to be considered a storied or not of the 6 meters, the reasoning in our engagement with the stakeholders at the committee was that 6 meters may also include some warehouses that are built to that height. So we thought in principle that we could raise it to 12.
That is on the length?
Yes.
Not on the width?
Yes.
He's talking about the width because that's where we talk about the foundation.
Yes, sir.
That's all?
Right Honorable Speaker, allow me touch on the built environment background. We thought we should have, because the built environment may not be so specific, somebody with a built environment background as a profession. So we thought we could get a dichotomy of these professions of engineers, the architects, like the Honorable Rugumai said, we can actually also make an amendment to include also the land economics. And then the urban council. Like we said, the definition of the urban council refers majorly to cities and municipalities. So we can also make considerations for the town councils to be encompassed in that. And then, like you rightly said, when we're talking about sanctions on those who default on some of these regulations, we actually did not include the issue of those who build on the road reserve because we thought it was included in the Road Act. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put a question that the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Building Control Amendment Bill 2025, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Chair, you have a new clause. Do you have a new clause? Or you go to clause 1? Before clause 1?
Right, Honorable Chair, insertion of new clause. The bill is amended by inserting immediately before clause 1 the following. Amendment of section 1 of Building Control Act, Cap 136. The Building Control Act, Cap 136, in this act referred to as the Principal Act, is amended in section 1 by inserting immediately after the definition of surveyor the following. Urban council includes city council and municipal council. Justification: to define a term that is used in the bill and limit application of the term urban council to a city council and municipal council. Clause 1, amendment of sections 3.
No, that is, first leave that. That is the insertion. Minister, are you okay with that?
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee proposal.
Thank you. I put a question that the proposal for a new clause stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Clause 1. Clause 1 is interpretation. Can we stand over the interpretation? Then we come back to it. Yes. Clause. Is that what? Board? Okay, okay.
Clause 1, amendment of Section 3 of the Building Control Act, Cap 136. Clause 1 is substituted for the following. Amendment of Section 3 of the Principal Act. The Principal Act is amended in Section 3 by substituting for subsection 1 the following. The board shall consist of 9 members as follows. A, 1 representative of the ministry responsible for works, 1 representative of the ministry responsible for social development, 1 representative of the ministry responsible for housing, 1 representative of the ministry responsible for local governments, 1 representative from the Attorney General's chambers, and 1 representative from each of the following professions nominated for appointment by the relevant professional body: engineering, architecture, physical planning, and surveying. Justification: to specifically provide for representatives from the ministry responsible for social development and the ministry responsible for housing. 2, to delete the proposed paragraph F, which may be subject to abuse due to lack of a clear criteria for the minister to appoint the 2 members of the public to the board. And 3, to remove a lawyer from representation on the board under the proposed paragraph G, since the board has a representative from the Attorney General's chambers. Remove.
So where are people with disabilities represented?
Yeah, Honorable Chair.
No, just hold on. People with disabilities are represented where? Is it under the Ministry of Social Development?
It is under the Ministry of Social Development.
Yes.
Honorable Chair, I propose we make it very specific. Under Ministry responsible for social development, we say that will be Department for Persons with Disability. So it is specific than putting it blind, so that people with disability are covered. They should be represented in the board. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, you find most of the buildings that we have now in Uganda do not cater for persons with a disability. So it is very important for us to be specific that there must be a person with a disability for that person to cater for the rest of the people. If you say that it should be under the Minister of Social Development may bring a woman, may bring a youth, may bring a...
Much obliged. I think we should dichotomize it to include people with disability. The Department of People with Disability.
To be brought by the Ministry of Gender.
Yes, Ministry of Gender.
A person, yes.
Yeah.
A person responsible for social development to bring a person with a disability.
Chair.
Is that okay with the minister?
Chair.
Just a minute.
Madam Chair, I agree with the idea of making representation from people with disabilities explicit and specific,
yes,
as has been proposed.
Thank you. Yes, youth.
Chair, whereas we are proposing to echo the representation of persons with disabilities, buildings can be gender sensitive in several ways. Urban buildings now should be sensitive to lactating mothers, should be sensitive to occupational safety. So when we ask gender to bring a representative, it should be someone who should encompass all those values in the building, not only persons with disabilities. Or we can say we get someone, a representative from Ministry of Gender, but also clearly indicate that there is someone who represents the persons with disabilities. But leaving out gender and substituting it with persons with disabilities.
What we are saying, gender should bring a person with a disability. Specific. Because under gender we have women, we have youth, we have persons with a disability. And remember here we are looking at, we have people coming from housing. You cannot restrict housing to bring people, a person with a disability.
Chair.
You have somebody from Wolga.
Right Honorable, you are on point. The issue of gender is constitutional for all boards and committees. So I think in this particular case, the Ministry in charge of social development, the issue of disability, the ramps and the aspects of, for me, overrides. But of course, we shall make sure that the gender aspect, which is a constitutional matter for all boards, is respected.
Can we say one representative of a PWDs nominated by a minister responsible for gender? Yes. Is that okay?
I thank you for that special recognition. But like my colleague was bringing out, also as environmentalists would be comfortable to see environmental matters being recognized in this building sector. So I would think that as and when would like to co-opt some, there could be a provision for co-opting some of these professionals as and when it is necessary. Because here you are only considering people with disability, environmental standards have to be observed, then somebody will say we need an environmentalist on the board.
Environmental matters is a cross-cutting thing. Now, even as accountants, we are going to say we also need accountants in this, because bills of quantity. Yes, bills of quantity. Even anyway. I put a question that clause 1 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1 as amended.
I put a question that clause 1 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 2, amendment of Section 8 of the Principal Act. Clause 2 is amended by substituting for the proposed paragraph A the following. Hear and determine complaints from a building control officer.
Paragraph E.
Paragraph EA. Hear and determine complaints from a building control officer, a building committee, or any person in relation to a building or building operation. The justification: to clarify that the complaint shall be in relation to a building or building operation, and for better drafting.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee position.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
I put a question that clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Clause 3, no amendment. I put a question that clause 3 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 4, amendment of Section 14 of the Principal Act. Clause 4 is amended by substituting for the proposed subsection 2 the following. Subsection 2, the Executive Secretary shall be a person with professional qualifications and experience in engineering, architecture, surveying, law, management, or public administration. Justification: to remove the requirement for the Executive Secretary to have professional qualifications and experience in the built environment, since built environment is neither a profession nor is the phrase built environment capable of exact definition. And then to expand the qualifications for the Executive Secretary to include engineering, architecture, valuation, and surveying.
Chair.
On clause 4?
Yes, on the same.
Yes.
Right Honorable.
You raised an issue of economics.
Yes. When we restrict to surveying, engineering, the reason as to why the bill proposes built environment, because that school encompasses many professionals. For example, I just noted land economists, but there are also urban planners who are very much qualified in the same. There are also construction managers. For example, if I can take an example, the School of Built Environment at Makerere alone has over 8 courses.
First, tell the House what built environment is.
So, built environment encompasses professions like surveying, urban planning. It encompasses issues like construction management, quantity surveying, land surveying, and geomatics. All these are people who have information or professional knowledge about built environment. So, what I would suggest is we go ahead with engineering, architecture, but also include all persons with professional knowledge in the school, in built environment, to encompass all of them, because in future, such a law can be used to segregate them and knock them off from taking that particular management job. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, the committee interfaced with various stakeholders over this matter, and after consultations came up with this proposal.
Let's first sort out what...
I want to agree with him, Right Honorable Chair, and that is why I am saying that
built environment.
Built environment is
Now,
not
the
a
term-
qualification.
Just a minute. The term built environment refers to a human-made surrounding that provide a setting for human activity, ranging in scales from building and parks or green space to neighborhood and cities that can often include their supporting infrastructure such as water supply and energy network. That is the definition of built environment.
So
you said you wanted to replace what with built environment?
What I was suggesting, Chair, is that whereas the committee proposes to be specific that there should be engineers, surveyors, architects, the word built environment was coined and put there to encompass many other professionals that are not clearly indicated like these. I noted them: land economists, urban planners, land valuers, land surveyors. All these are people with professional knowledge in the built environment. So you cannot limit them by only restricting it to architects, surveyors, and that. Thank you, Richard.
Now, in your proposal, you're saying we'll maintain the bill as it was without changing. Chairperson. A committee, you need to appreciate what he's talking about. And that means if we go by what Honorable Youth is saying, then it stands part of the bill.
Thank you. Right Honorable Chair, the Honorable colleague raises a pertinent issue. I think it's important that all the professions that are umbrellaed under the built environment should be catered for. So I think his case makes a point. We concede.
Thank you. Honorable members, I put a question that clause 4 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I put a question that clause 6 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 7, amendment of Section 33 of the Principal Act. Clause 7 is amended in the proposed subsection 2. A, by substituting for the phrase 1 currency point, the phrase 2 currency points. B, by substituting for the phrase 2 years, the phrase 5 years. Justification, to enhance the penalty for the offense of carrying out a building operations without a building permit.
Minister, a deterrent. Honorable Minister, we are moving from 2 to 5 years because we don't want these people to start building houses that are...
Yeah, right, Honorable. It's justified, but I'm looking at the magnitude of penalty. 1 currency point is 20,000 shillings per square meter. Multiply by the square meters in that.
1 currency point for every square meter.
Every square meter.
So the committee is saying we make it 2 currency points per square meter.
Since we are moving progressively to improving the building environment, I think it's too much to move so drastically to 5 years imprisonment, 40,000 multiplied by the square meters in a building. I think I would retain the 20,000, the ones.
Members, what do you think?
Yeah.
Chair, to have a debate on penalties, I think would drag us on for so long. Indeed, if you say a currency point per square meter, it is a good penalty. But is it deterrent enough? That is what we should think of. Because we have many people who are forcefully constructing, ignoring the recommendations and approved plans. So is it deterrent enough? That is what should be the question. So I think 2 would be good.
Honourable members, the essence of these penalties is to prohibit people from doing wrong things. You get it, eh? Prohibit. If you know you're not going to do, you're not going to have... You do the right thing and then you don't get the penalty. Now, when you're a wrongdoer, should you be given a lenient punishment?
Right, Honorable, we concede as government. This is okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Honourable members, I put a question that clause 7 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7 as amended.
I put a question that clause 7 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair. Clause 8. Amendment of Section 34 of the Principal Act. Clause 8 is amended in paragraph B in the proposed subsection 3A by substituting for the word 6 the word 12. Justification: to increase the meters in height for a building to qualify as a multi-storied structure.
Yes, Honorable Bish.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On this one, this is what I was talking about earlier. When you increase the height to 12, it would mean that a full-storied building may not qualify. So I am suggesting that we leave it at 6 meters for purposes of this bill.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the amendment as proposed by the committee.
Thank you.
Chair, I'm of the opinion that 6 meters, you see, in engineering, it is not a gamble, it is facts. Now, when I'm constructing a residential house, I am certain that should I provide for all issues like aeration and what, the maximum I should go is, let's say, 4 meters above. Now, when you say, because they are warehouses, we shouldn't categorize them, the structural engineer has to provide for the structural forces of that building. If it is 6 meters, it can be a warehouse of 6 meters above ground, but with forces acting on it equivalent to a storage building. So what I would propose is we leave it as it is. Because either way, it would not make sense to have a building that is standing at 6 meters. It would not make any sense, and consider it as a normal building. It's not a normal building. There are strange forces already acting on it. So I'd propose that planning, special planning, be done for such a particular building, because there are unique structural forces acting on such a building. Thank you, Right Honourable.
Right Honourable Chair, the decision to increase the levels to 12 was arrived at in consideration of other structures that have been built in this country, like the warehouses, where you find it stands at about 7 or even more than 7 meters. So will we be able to consider those as storage buildings?
No. Okay, so we go with the committee proposal. I put a question that clause 8 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8 as amended.
Understand what is saying, that you have buildings where, like what he says, and they're about 7 meters. Do you consider that a storage building?
Chair, we are making a law that will stand generations. What I think we should consider is maybe making exceptions for warehouses, but not...
No, we have not made exemption for warehouse. We can't make exemption in the law. We can do it in the regulation, not in the law.
Yes, but what I would think of any building above 6 meters, Chair, you would start thinking differently as a designer. You'd start thinking differently, because this is not a normal building anymore. So I would propose that we maintain the 6 meters.
No, we can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah.
Right, Honourable. I think we take note of the comment of the member, Honourable Member, but it would be fallacious to say a single building, although it is up to 6, becomes multi-storied. So for me, I think your guidance is right. Those are details we can define in the regulation next to the law.
Clause 8 as amended.
I put a question that clause 8 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor stand the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Chair.
Right Honourable Chair, Clause 9, amendment of Section 35 of the Principal Act. Clause 9 is amended in paragraph B, A, in the proposed subsection 8, by substituting for the words in this section, the words under subsection 1. B, by inserting immediately after the proposed subsection 9, the following. 10, where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for a building permit within the period specified in subsection 9. The applicant may appeal to the board. Justification, Right Honorable Chair, to make specific reference to subsection 1, which requires a person to obtain a building permit. 2, to provide for an appeal by the applicant to the board where the building committee fails to make a decision on an application following a directive by the chief administrative officer or the town clerk.
What about cities? It's a town clerk. Okay. It is a cow and a town clerk or city clerk.
Right Honorable Chair, like we noted earlier, to take care of the city, we can think of having the city clerk.
Thank you. I put a question. Minister.
I think, Chair, the committee chair is right, because in the interpretation, we are making an interpretation of urban council to include city and municipal council. So if the city clerk needs to be defined and differentiated from the municipal clerk, then we can do that in the interpretation.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 9 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9 as amended.
I put a question that clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I put a question that clause 10 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 11, amendment of Section 37 of the Principal Act. Clause 11 is amended in paragraph B by substituting for the words 1 currency point, the words 2 currency points. Justification, to enhance the penalty for the offense of carrying on a building operation beyond the time limit prescribed by the law.
That's a consequential amendment from the other amendment. Minister?
Madam Chair, as you have said, this is a consequential amendment consistent to what we adopted earlier. I therefore agree with the amendment.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11 as amended.
I put a question that clause 11 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I put a question that clause 12 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I put a question that clause 13 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 14, insertion of Section 41A in the Principal Act. Clause 14 is amended in the proposed Section 41A by substituting for the words "for building" in the head note, and wherever the words appear in the provision, the words "in building operations." Justification. The term building operations is defined in Section 1 of the Building Control Act, and it is broader in application compared to the word building when used in the context of Clause 14.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, the intention is good, and I therefore agree with the
Thank you.
committee.
I put a question that clause 14 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 14 as amended.
I put a question that clause 14 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, Clause 15, amendment of Section 43 of the Principal Act. Clause 15 is amended. A, in the proposed subsection 6, by substituting for the phrase in this section, the phrase under subsection 2. B, by inserting immediately after the proposed subsection 7, the following. Subsection 8, where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for an occupation permit within the period specified under subsection 7, the applicant may appeal to the board. Justification. To make specific reference to subsection 2, which provides for the period of a building committee to make a decision on an application for an occupation permit. Number 2, to provide for an appeal to the board by an applicant where a building committee fails to make a decision on an application for an occupation permit within the period specified by the Chief Administrative Officer or the Town Clerk.
Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the amendment.
I put a question that clause 15 be amended as proposed. Those in favor send the contrary nay. You can't even answer. The ayes have it.
Clause 15 as amended.
I put a question that clause 15 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I put a question that clause 16 stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I put a question that clause 17 stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I put a question that clause 18 stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I put a question that clause 19 stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
I put a question that clause 20 stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
Definition. I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor send the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the Whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of the Whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill entitled the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Minister. Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of the Whole House be adopted by this august House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading, the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker.
Why were you sleeping when the bill was moving? Now you want to recommit.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled, I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled the Building Control Amendment Bill
silence?
2025 be read for the third time and do pass. You can now do what
Honorable Ethel, do you have marital interest here?
Madam Speaker, not only am I married to an engineer, but I have knowledge of architectural engineering.
So what committee do you want?
I was please requesting that we recommit clause 8 on the matter of the distance, the height for a structure to be considered as a multi-storied structure. Because from the engineering professionals,
can you rephrase what you want to be recommitted?
Madam Speaker, I'm requesting the House to recommit clause 8 on the matter of on 3B, where we are having it's on clause 8, where we have the matter of multi-storied structure or building to be considered for 6 meters. And the House, we've agreed 12 meters, which is, according to engineers,
so you want
not
6
okay.
meters, not 12.
Yes, that's what I'm asking the House to recommit, because it's an engineering matter. Thank you.
Those in favor of recommittal say and the contrary nay. The nays have it. Continue.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Building Control Amendment Bill 2025 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Building Control Amendment Act 2025.
The title is settled and the bill has been passed. Congratulations. Honourable members, House adjourned to 2 tomorrow.